Just John or?
We're ready, sir.
Would you all please rise and join with me in reciting the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call the second November meeting of the county board to order and ask the clerk if he would call the roll.
Bruner.
Here.
Ellis.
Here.
Farnham.
Here.
Shiddick. Luddington.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Boyd.
Here. Claims against the county. You'll find that you've got a new claims against the county sheets. I think they were on your, at your places.
Yes.
What that includes is what he sent us earlier in the week or by email, plus the demand checks that were cut off yesterday at noon. So there are a few differences, but everything's included through the end of the year. Unless it's an emergency, we will not be opening up the demand checks, so we won't be issuing any more checks for this fiscal year, which ends on Monday evening. Are there any questions? I think we do have a question. Carl, did you want me to ask? Did you already find out about the Harvey Dye?
Oh, no, I didn't. You know, on the water heater,
Water heater, okay.
on the demand, or the checks, there was 4,000 to replace a water heater.
I don't know anything about replacing 4,000 for water. Where was it?
Just says replace water heater per quote.
That sounds like something the sheriff may have done. I know we needed a water heater, didn't we?
At the jail?
Yes.
I was never made aware of it. But that, he's kinda on his own, the sheriff is, but. A lot of money for his water heater.
Has that check already been issued?
We're holding this not out yet.
Okay.
You want it held?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry.
We wanna find out what it is.
Contingent on a motion, quite frankly, I'm gonna say it, we don't want him to make up the ground that we had issues with him before on. Okay?
Right.
I think we need to get an understanding with the sheriff
We need to know
on what was done
it's
and
for, yeah.
why it was done. So could we have a motion to approve the bills with the exception of the payment of that one?
I'll make it.
Have you got that, Augie?
Yes, sir.
And Phil made the motion. Do we have a second?
Andy said.
Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. It does carry. Now we have the minutes of October 14th regular meeting and October 15th special meeting and November 5th special meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve those minutes? Dan moves, Phil seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Now we come to the portion of the meeting for public comment. We ask that you restrict your comments after you've identified yourself to 5 minutes. Are there any public comments for the board this morning? Hearing none, we'll move on to another portion of the meeting. Number 7, resolution to adopt the budget and levy for fiscal year beginning December 1st of 2020 and ending November 30th, 2021. This has been laid over since, what was that, the 4th or 5th? 4th of November for everybody to have the public look at it if they would like, public inspection. So we have reviewed it and passed it for review. Now this is the final passage. Is there a motion, or is there anybody who would like to move the adoption and approval of the resolution? Okay, we won't operate on a budget next year.
No, no, but you kind of said it, 2 questions. You would,
It's all one resolution.
all right, I vote.
I'm sorry if I made it confusing. All right, Andy moves, Phil seconds.
I was in trouble.
For further discussion on it, please. Hearing none, would you call the roll, Augie?
Brunner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Ludington,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Is that 5 votes?
It is.
Okay, good. Okay, next,
See, Andy.
Andy, I think,
Oh,
would you
sorry.
check the hallway for us? We'll come get
We
you in a
approved
minute.
your liquor. I don't even drink, what? Yeah, me either. Get it.
And the reason we do this, Russ, is the way the law reads is that if there's a liquor owner, or liquor, license owner on the board, they can't even be present for the debate, okay? So he steps out of the room for the following 2 items. Okay, resolution to renew alcohol license number 1 for Andy Z. Patrick, effective December 1st, 2020, through November 30th, 2021. Discussion?
We ought to add to that, we'll okay it if he.
Prime rib.
Prime rib once a month. Make sure he knows that when he comes back.
Motion to
Well,
approve
I
the,
just have one question. It
Absol-
dawned on me yesterday. Why are there 2 on here for Andy and only one on here for Castle Finn? What's the difference?
there's 2 different kinds of license. There's a liquor winery and the other one's a liquor.
For the restaurant.
For the restaurant.
For
Two different
alcohol other than
classes.
winery? I mean, alcohol other than wine? Is that why he has 2?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Question.
Yes. Do you
No, that was a
move
good
the
question.
resolution?
I do.
Phil moves. Okay,
Second.
Dan seconds, please. Assume you're ready to vote. Augie?
Brunner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
And Patrick. Oh, he's out. Okay, 4-0.
You said yes.
Okay, it's approved. Resolution to renew alcohol liquor winery license number 1 for Andy Z. Patrick, effective December 1st, 2020. And that's through November 30th, 2021. Questions? Resolution motion?
I'll do it.
Phil moves.
For-
Carl seconds.
why can't-
All, when you have a chance, Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Brunner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes.
4-0.
It is approved. Somebody grab him.
Make sure we, let him know we added a little addendum to that.
Yeah. Well, it added something to the resolution.
I bet you can't guess what it is.
Darn, I was hoping they'd go out of business.
I think it has to do with prime rib.
Yeah, probably. We got
What's
to.
Hey, look, I bribed you last.
It worked.
Hey. that's-
All right.
That's who does it.
Next item is resolution to renew alcohol liquor winery license number 2 for Robert E. Morgan doing business as Castle Finn Vineyard and Winery, Inc., effective December 1st, 2020 through November 30th, 2021. Questions? Motion to approve resolution?
I'll move.
Phil moves, Andy seconds,
I don't drink.
when you get a chance.
Brunner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Ludington,
Yes,
Patrick.
Yes.
Okay.
you should have voted
That is, all 3 of those are approved. Approve agreement between Illinois FOP Labor Council and County of Edgar County Sheriff, deputies, contract beginning December 1st, 2020 through November 30th, 2023. You've had, we did include a final copy in your packet. We've discussed it. The committee recommends it. So, could we get a motion to approve this?
I didn't read it, but what's the percent of increase?
Just like our employees.
Okay.
2,
Good.
2 1/4, 2 1/4.
Okay.
3rd year's 2 1/4.
All right.
And also on the insurance, we got
Oh, yes.
an increase, so they're up paying the same percentage as the other county employees.
Well, that sounds good all the way around.
Congratulations.
Everybody's on. the same
Yeah,
thing.
that was a 2-year process, wasn't it, Carl?
Good.
So, and we appreciate the cooperation that we got from the sheriff's deputies this year. It was, they were constructive. I hope they found us constructive. We listened to them, they listened to us, and I think we're in better shape, even with the contract, okay? So, we appreciate it. Motion to approve that resolution or that agreement, please. Dan moved, Andy seconds. We need I think, a voice vote on that, please.
Brunner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Ludington,
Yes,
Patrick.
Yes.
Okay, next we have a memorandum of understanding between the FOP Labor Council and the Edgar County Sheriff's Office regarding the deputies. And that concerns and you've had that in the back part of the contract, but it handles how assignments will be made when people are not available to work, call off sick, whatever. And it's something that we've been seeking for a number of years, and we'd ask for the approval of that also by motion. Carl moves. Andy seconds. Do you have any questions about that? In other words, I'll just say one more thing. The sheriff and staff combine together to come up with how slots will be filled and so forth, rather than just the union doing it, okay? And it's designed to protect the deputies, the safety of the deputies, and give the sheriff the ability to make strong decisions on how the county should be covered law enforcement wise, okay? Mr. Clerk?
Brunner,
Yes.
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Ludington.
yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Does carry. Thank you. Next, we have the moratorium on the wind farm applications, and you have that in your packet. I've got to find it. Basically, it's giving us and the committee and whoever's interested an opportunity to review the current ordinance that was passed at the last meeting. It's a 6-month period of time. Does anybody have theirs? Because I can't find mine.
It's in my car.
Here, you can use mine.
Okay,
You
and
gotta
then
give
I'll
it-
hand it right back to you. Thank you. Basically, it creates the committee as of today, and the committee must have a final report by May 25th. And the issues that this charges the committee with, but not exclusively, are setback requirements, noise restrictions, and decommissioning related to the issue of wind farm development. And there may be things added, but that's at a minimum. We by law can't just call a moratorium without targeting things that we need to look at. And those were things that I think we all thought ought to be reviewed as we discussed it on Monday morning. So there may be other things. Did you have a question,
Yeah,
Phil?
did we discuss whether we thought that was, the moratorium was good for us or not good? There was some question that we didn't wanna put a particular time restraint on what we were doing.
We did discuss that, but
How'd that turn out? I don't remember how it turned out. Did we think it was a good idea?
we thought that it couldn't hurt anything, didn't we? I mean,
There's
didn't-
just a lot of questions out there we don't,
Yeah.
I mean, the more questions you bring up, the less answers you seem to have to some of the questions.
So the
We-
moratorium is it favors us.
I think so, and we
Yeah.
wanted to
That's
bring
what I
in,
thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
I think, I may have been, and a couple of us may have been the other way, but when we listened to everybody and considered everything, I think we thought that
That's
was a
what I thought. I
worthwhile
just wanna make
project.
sure.
That way we can bring in all sides. And, wind farm, maybe some folks that are for it, some against it, like we heard, the cautious verbiage from some people, 2 meetings ago? I think we need to hear from
Are we
folks.
gonna have an opportunity to hear from both sides of everything?
That's what we'd like to do.
Okay.
Now, whether we can't make people come,
Or we'll offer it to them?
absolutely, I thought would be good.
Just
We
like
talked
your-
about having a
everybody's-
forum, is that what you called it?
Hearing,
A
yeah.
hearing or forum, where we would set aside time and,
Just like the one at Christmas we had?
yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
Well-
Okay.
if that's, I mean, that's what we've got in mind now. I mean, it's all 7 of our decisions, not just 1 or 2 people, so. But I
That
think,
sounds good to me.
yes,
State requires a setback of what, 1,100 feet, is that correct? I'm just asking.
no,
Okay.
I'm not sure there's a specific setback to state.
Okay, I was confused on a little bit.
Now, the state does have noise requirements and some of the other things are in there. Yeah, but as far as, and that's the Department of Agriculture, I believe, that has those, okay?
I was just saying, if the state requires a certain amount of setback and we change it, can people come back and sue us because we have a longer setback on what? Okay.
I think anybody could always sue us, especially since we're not zoned in this county, okay?
All right.
So, I mean, if we're unreasonable either way, in other words, if we made it 5 feet, that would be unreasonable. If we made it a mile, that would be and I'm not saying that
Yeah,
the
I
distance we
understand.
are operating
I
under.
like that the people have said that 3,200 is good.
Well-
I've talked to, have come to me about it,
Well, and that's,
so it's good.
it's an inclusionary figure,
Okay.
but we may still adjust it. It just
Well-
depends on what we hear from the committee.
And that's a guideline.
Yes,
I mean, if 2 people next to each other agree to less, they can agree to less,
Okay.
but if someone says, nope, I don't want that, that's pretty much what you know, somebody has a house next to it or something.
Or they can make them stick to the 32, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
That sounds good to me.
yeah, me too.
Isn't that the way you understand it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's inclusionary what we've done. In other words, it kind of forces the windmill company or wind farm companies to deal with people that they might not normally deal with, to make them, to include them in the project. And that's never a bad thing. Do you agree with that, Lisa? Okay.
Okay.
Is that,
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off, because
No,
we've
that's
had
fine.
some
I
good
like
discussions on this.
3,200 and-
This is a big deal.
Right, right, I understand.
This could be a big deal before it's over.
Yep.
This is just the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A motion we have a moratorium, do we have a motion on that? We have 3 people that have offered the resolution. I saw Carl's hand first,
Okay,
okay?
that's fine,
And then Dan seconds, okay?
that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, and so we'll go in, we'll sign that document, and we'll have a moratorium till the 25th of May, effective immediately, okay? And deal with it. The next item
We
immediately,
need to vote on that.
oh yeah, did we vote? I'm
No.
sorry.
Brunner,
Yes,
Ellis,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Hackett.
yes.
That should carry. The next is to appoint Lisa, John, and Jeff to the Windmill Ordinance Review Committee. Now, that's not to say that we can't add people to that committee, but at least it gets it off the ground. And I thought it would be important to at least put this on here so we could get started. I hope that we can get together and at least organize and set up an outline for how we're gonna approach it in December, if everybody's available. Now, John is not gonna be available for about 2 weeks, okay? But after that, maybe we can get together if he feels strong enough. And if there's any suggestions, even if you wanna be on it, we just had to start somewhere. And those people had already expressed an interest to be on the committee, so. And some of you have a lot to do and some of you have less, so I'll leave it up to you, okay? Motion to approve the committee formation and the people that I put forward. Andy moves, Phil seconds, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay? Carries. Appoint Nolan Longest and Lisa Ellis to the Mental Health 708 Board. As you're aware, unfortunately, we lost a longtime citizen that has really put a lot of himself into the community and the 708 board in Ned Jennison, so we needed to replace him. That nomination for Nolan has come from the board, and they've talked to him, and he has been consulted, and he's aware of it and would like to be on the board. The other one is Lisa, and you're aware of her. Dan has been on there for a number of years and has had some conflicts.
Kind of same as the mental, or the health department meetings, so I only went to one meeting.
So that's why these folks are being appointed. And that will fill the board out at this point. So are there any other questions on that? A motion to appoint, please?
Does Lisa want to be on the board?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they approached her, and so.
I say she's on a lot of boards, I don't know if she.
I know, this is
Yeah.
kind of the Lisa Ellis agenda today.
Okay.
So we have a motion from Andy. Do we have a second, please? Phil, seconds. Okay, all those in favor of those appointments signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, next, that is approved. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Nolan, wherever you are. Appoint Lisa Ellis to serve as honorary director of the Chamber of Commerce. We received a request by the Chamber Director, and I guess they'd already talked to you, or hadn't they talked to you? I just forced you into this? Okay. I did talk to you about it before, but at any rate, this would be, she would be replacing Derek Lorenzen.
So what's the job of an honorary director?
Well, they don't go to the whole meeting, they
Okay.
just go to the part of the meeting that affects community, and she would report to them what we're doing, and they would report to her anything that they're doing that might affect us.
Okay.
It's just good communication. I think they meet, I'm not sure how often they meet.
Okay.
I think quarterly.
Yeah, most of
That's good.
them do quarterlies. Motion to approve appointment. Andy moves, Phil seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Well opposed.
It does carry. Dina was here on Monday to discuss the improved overflights based on the good bid that we got, and so the communities that she named would be covered. That would be $23,000 extra out of the GIS fund. Any further questions that I might be able to answer in Dina's absence?
She's got plenty in the fund, and
Yeah, she got 140 grand in there.
So-
It's something we do every 3 or 4 years. And we had some examples of how it improved the ability of them to do their jobs without having to go out there at any rate. So, motion to approve. And Dan moves, Andy seconds. Further? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay? That does carry. Now we have department, Adam, why don't you, do you have anything to report? I know you gave us a report at the Monday meeting. Is there anything further that you wish to?
I just update our 3-room COVID unit is now at capacity. We filled it up in the last couple of days. We talked Monday about the COVID drive-through. Just to clarify, it is the first, not the second, from 8 to 4 at the health department. But other than that, we're just seeing COVID like crazy, so unless you,
How many beds does the unit have?
the designated COVID unit has 3, but then we have contingency plans should we need to make additional space for those COVID, so we're probably gonna be discussing that today, I'm not sure what the discharge plans are for those 3, but I think we've got a meeting later today to discuss expansion of that unit.
is it difficult, if you get full, is it difficult to transfer to any place?
Everywhere's full right now.
Everywhere's
Every
full.
hospital is almost at capacity for COVID beds, so getting those patients placed it's definitely a challenge right now.
I have another question. Given that you don't do ventilators at the hospital, if somebody, are you having problems with placing
We
a
actually,
person?
we can do ventilators.
I know you can,
Yeah,
but
so we've kept, this year we've kept one, which is, we normally do, but we do have the capability to do that if it comes down to it. Our respiratory therapists are trained in that area, so it's not something we routinely do, but these aren't routine times, so we may start doing some things we don't normally do.
sorry. Thank you, Adam.
Champagne paper saying they bring in refrigerated trucks up, which is not good. Bodies.
Yesterday, I got a call from Janet. I get lots of calls a week for help that Janet needs. But one of them was, just so you're aware, in case something comes up about it, they had juvenile court yesterday. And although we had people downstairs that were handing out masks and asking them to wear them and so forth when they got upstairs, that wasn't routinely being followed. Plus, there was no social distancing and so forth. So the judge and I talked about it, and he's going to coordinate with Derek to make sure that we have security on the top floor to maintain social distancing the best they can, or at least try, and to make sure that people are wearing masks and there's organization. And we had a couple of security people that we felt and that Derek felt were more than capable of handling that. And I just want to make you aware because Janet had gotten several complaints from people that were up there trying to do the best they could, and not everybody was on the same game page as they were. So we reacted right away. The judge was cooperative. Derek was cooperative, so and Janet was pleased with that. Additionally, Janet needs some help identifying or actually reaching people who have tested COVID and were avoiding the health department. And we had several sheriff's department people volunteering to make sure that that got done, so we didn't have people running around the community spreading COVID when they're positive. There's a thing that Janet can issue that basically is a mandatory thing for them to stay home. Now, whether they still do, we can only do so much. People have got to understand the responsibility and take it to heart. So I just wanted to make you aware of those two things, that the sheriff's department was being cooperative, and everything was, at least we're attempting to do what we can do to mitigate some of these issues.
I know,
Andy?
I came to the courthouse yesterday and the guys that are downstairs, they said, hey, you got a mask.
Right.
So I'm wondering if these guys, did they have masks and got in and took them off?
Yeah, they got upstairs and
Took
just
'em
wouldn't
off.
wear them.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
okay. Because I thought, oh, those guys.
well, they're not even supposed to let them in the door.
Right.
If they don't have
I was
masks.
gonna say, he goes, you got a mask? I said, yeah.
And we have supplies of masks that,
Okay.
and Augie had ordered additional masks for the election and didn't know exactly how many he was gonna need, so he's been gracious enough to provide different parts of our government with masks as they need it. Thank you, Augie. Anything?
Is the hospital closed to this week?
It's really department specific. I believe the floor is allowing visitors on end-of-life cases, but I know a surgery, I believe, is allowing one person with the patient for a ride, basically. But as far as ER goes, ER is not allowing any visitors unless it's a minor.
Are you doing
Say that
elective?
again, the first part.
Surgery I believe surgery, last I knew, is allowing one with the patient. The floor is kind of case by case, end of life is obviously a little different. ER is no visitors unless they're a minor.
My wife has surgery, I can go up there like normal.
My recommendation would be to call that specific department and ask them what they are doing. before. But I can tell you for sure the ER, what the ER is doing right now, because it's kind of my area, but there's not a routine
We're not
policy.
absolutely sure about the wrong.
I'm not absolutely sure about the other departments, but my recommendation would be just before you come out to call and ask what their policy is.
Some hospitals don't let any visitors in.
Most hospitals right now have visitor restrictions, if not all hospitals.
So,
Yeah, but
maybe surgery.
they are still,
I can't
surgery
just
department is
drop
still
her off the
running
friggin'
full
door
capacity.
down
For now, but that is subject to change.
I just wanted to, they told me yesterday, what my visitors, I don't know. Okay, so,
Is there anything else of Adam? Okay, Augie?
Well, I'll take this opportunity to thank everyone who helped me with the election. It was the biggest one that I've ever conducted, and I will say that it went very smooth, all in all. We were busy. Our turnout was 8,251, and of that number, approximately 48% were vote by mail and early votes.
Really?
Yeah,
What percentage?
48. So now that explains why I thought we were busy inside, because we were. And we social distanced, we had masks, everybody was, the voters, the public, they were very conscientious, very cooperative. Just didn't have any issues to speak of. So yeah, I want to thank my staff, and I want to thank all my election judges, and anyone and everyone that had any part in helping out. We just couldn't do it without everybody's help and assistance. So I really appreciate that. And I do want to go on record and thank my wife for helping me set up 7 polling places over the weekend. So
Smart move on
there
your
you go.
part.
So that is on record.
did you pay her?
Yeah. She got to work with me.
Got
That's always fun.
Yeah, are there any questions for me?
Not for, not a compliments on it, so.
Why don't you go over, the first week, or starting the 7th, what we're doing?
Oh, okay, so,
Just to make sure everybody heard it, and I always seem to get it back afterwards, so.
okay, so for county board members that were elected, the statutes say that the terms begin on December 7th. So on December 7th, you all are gonna meet in here at 9 o'clock, and Judge Garst is going to perform this swearing-in ceremony. And then we'll have our brief organizational meeting, and then that will be followed by our study session. Okay, December 7th, right here, 9 o'clock. 2 days later, on the 9th, is our first regular meeting in December. 9 o'clock here,
Can I add something to that now? The
please.
next day, at 10 o'clock, on the 10th, is our closeout for Ori and
Smart clock.
Smart Watt. Okay, 10 o'clock, and I assume that it's be here. I haven't made any conversation, or they haven't asked me to arrange the meeting. It's just, it will be here at 10 o'clock.
Yes,
So we-
they haven't asked me either, so I figure we'll find someplace to go.
Wasn't there something you guys were not happy with, or?
Yeah, and I think you
I
made it
think one
clear
of
to
you said
them.
they don't wanna do that until you're satisfied.
Well, we're still gonna get together and talk. I think that would be,
Well,
hopefully,
and it's more of an informational thing than.
Right.
It's close out. What's that?
Regular meeting?
no,
Okay,
it'd be a committee meeting.
okay.
Yeah, it is. it doesn't relieve them just because they close out, doesn't
Right.
relieve them of any responsibility of the equipment, warranties, or anything else. Okay?
So the issue that we've got now, are they're aware of it? or trying to-
They're
working
working
on
on
it, and I reiterated that to him, to Chuck, cause I could have been wrong, because I've talked to him several times. And I thought he told me the other day that, they've been working on it, they had issues, they got it figured out, but he got back with me yesterday and said, no, I feel, we've still got issues where we're dealing with Mitsubishi on it. So they're aware of it, I think they're mainly trying to figure out what's going wrong with it. There's a glitch somewhere in the system, and I don't think, they've not got it figured out yet. So hopefully soon.
Is the health department satisfied with everything down here? I haven't heard.
I haven't heard anything bad, and he, of course, that
How
was,
about the, what's one had to be replaced, did they end up having to pay for it?
yeah, and I'm sure they did, that was the chiller.
Sure they did.
Yeah, but I remember when we went into this, they asked Janet if they had mentioned that, I was in a meeting with one of the techs, and he said, you understand now the situation with the chiller, that it was on its last leg and could go at any time. And that was before we went into all this. So I think they were aware
I haven't
of it.
said anything about it, so I assume it's all right.
Okay. Have you been some of the meetings?
Well, last week,
Okay.
she never missed anything, but
She ought to be in good shape now.
yeah.
I have a question for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
I assume our voting system is not Dominion?
Absolutely correct, it is not Dominion.
Okay.
That's the bad one, I had trouble with it.
So our new system is called Unison, which is not on the blacklist.
Did you have opportunity to get Dominion? I mean, was there, no?
No,
Okay, I was just curious.
no.
Is there any Illinois, are you aware of any Illinois counties, I guess?
You know,
that's Dominion?
off the top of my head, Carl, I can't say, but I can't, I would render a guess, strictly a guess, if there would be some,
Yeah,
you know, just,
curious.
yeah, naively, I mean, you know, it's a system and,
Well, I think on the national news, I heard there's like 37 states, different states had Dominion, but
And it was
it
pretty
didn't list
widespread.
them all.
yeah. And just because, well, the state doesn't tell you what system to use.
Mhm.
See, so we use Unison and someone may use Dominion or ES&S or maybe their own
Yeah.
proprietary system, an in-house system. So there's different ones, but they all have to meet state board of elections requirements and standards.
Okay. Don has sent over they're up here if you need one. Dash basically is the cash flow, which also identifies all of the various accounts for the county. And you'll notice that we are still operating about 993 negative in the general fund, positive 526 in the other funds, and in the levy funds, we're up around 830,000 to the positive. You'll notice though that that's slowly dropping the current balance in the general fund, and it will continue to drop. We've already paid back the 500,000 in tax anticipation warrants and some of the other major bills. We've still got coming in and on accrual adjustments and everything well over $1 million. So we've still got some expenses. We've got one more payroll that will come out Friday. Well, it'll be cut off on Friday and paid next week. But part of that will be this year, and part of it will be next year. We need to solve in there about 2/3 of the way down. You'll notice the police car vehicle purchase, we've got a negative 36,820. We're gonna have to deal with that and figure it out what was done there and reverse it and get it squared away so we don't have any problems. All of the transfers, including the bell tower, were made, and all transfers between various departments. Everything's going fine. Don's back at full tilt and getting his job done. So I'll go over a few other financial things when it comes to me, okay? Any questions about that? Okay. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. Committee reports. Dan, do you have anything other than the cats? We heard plenty on the cats.
Okay, doing great.
Okay,
Keeping
good.
me awake most of the night. Bud and I would like to have the committee report, or committees changed to something rather than rabies. Because we have animal shelter committee.
Oh, yeah, we can change it to,
Sounds better than rabies, right?
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm infected. I don't know.
have you been
It's pretty
tested?
serious. Yeah.
Yeah, we can,
I heard you sniffing, Carl. I heard that.
yeah.
It's just a minor detail.
No, but it's fine.
We got important business.
Other than that, I have nothing.
Oh, Phil? Nothing? Carl?
No.
Andy?
Nothing, that's just working on the heating system.
We do need a closed session briefly on contracts, okay?
Can I ask you a question first?
Yes.
You know this, the list of committees and such, I don't know how often it is, every 2 or 3 months I go to Charleston for, meet with all this county board members, some board member from each county, 7 of us. Should that be on there or
No, that's an individually,
individual thing?
yeah, yeah.
I just wanna make sure you know I always go.
Well, what we can do though is we can list, and we used to list down some other things down here at the bottom that we could do, okay?
Okay.
We can do that. I'll dig out my list.
What
and-
meeting is that?
The school,
Oh,
regional school.
Regional
Okay.
superintendent.
Yeah.
See, like I'm on several committees
Pretty good
that
deal, get a
meets,
free meal out of it.
yeah.
Nice old pea, I'm one of the younger ones there.
One of the things I wanted to let you know is that and I've got a report here from Dina, and you've got it in your packet, but I want to remind you that who are on the assessors committee, that there'll be a meeting at 5 o'clock on December 3rd. And I forget John's, I think, was on that. And I doubt
The
it.
farmland committee.
Farmland Committee,
Yeah.
thank you. So if anybody's interested in being there, it's at 5 o'clock at the Edgar County Farm Bureau. I think, hang on,
What date?
the 3rd. Greg Henry will be there and Dale English will be there, so. But sure, we're all welcome, I may show up, okay? It's nice to support Dina whenever we can. Sometimes she catches a little bit of flack because of what the state does, and we have no jurisdiction to change it. And it's important to make sure that some of the folks know that they need to talk to their legislators about some of those issues. She also wanted to remind you that if ever you have issues or questions, that her office is open to all of us individually or whatever, or if we want her to come to a meeting and explain anything when she can, like the other day on Monday. So Dina's very good to work with. Yes, sir.
Who's the one in the assessor's office that retired? She replaced him? What was his name?
Dave,
Yeah,
yeah, Dave is retired this month after,
did she replace him with somewhere?
not yet. She's working on that though.
What's this on the marijuana stores or something?
It was just something that Augie was asked to pass out, and he did. I don't really
Do
have
we have
any.
anybody that wants to have a store sell marijuana in Edgar County?
not aware of anybody that's asked.
Yeah, I just want, no, it's expensive to start with.
As far as the committees, I'll be talking to you and we'll get these set up over the next week or two. If anybody has a request to be something, I know that Russ and Lisa are both vying for the position on the airport.
We only got one person, we got one person on the airport.
Yeah, I don't know. How did we get, I don't know how you wound up there, but I may have done that just as a prank. But I've been handling it since, no, there's only one person on there. Derek was the only one.
Oh, okay.
It's
All
a
right.
piece of cake now compared to how it used to be.
Yeah,
Used to be three.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it could rear its ugly head at
Well,
any time.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That's good. You're right there, you did good.
anyway, we'll discuss this over the next week or two and get everybody lined out the best we can, all right?
I'll vote for this.
Let's see. I wanted to let you know on the CARES issue, we were allotted $270,800. At this point, we have collected $213,447 in eligible reimbursement. We actually have enough to eat up all of it, but we're trying to be fair to departments so that they can be reimbursed for things that they have spent. But I assure you, before December 31st, we will have billed out the total of over $260,800. Additionally, we have filled out a survey and asked for an additional $100,000. So who knows where it's going to be. We have at least 80 or 90,000 that we can bill out of that 213, which we would be over probably 25,000 over the 260,800. So, yes, sir.
Will that continue next year?
No, this is, unless there's something renewed, the feds have not dumped any more money into the state of Illinois.
So that's this legislation stuff that's in Washington that they haven't agreed on, that if that gets worked out,
We
then
may
it
get
could
additional funds,
for next year.
yes. Now, the health department still has a lot of funds, and we're working with her, Janet Ming, to get, she actually was sent cash, and then she had to spend it according to the instructions. And one of those things that we haven't gotten to her with is the exact amount that we've spent on unemployment, Social Security, retirement, and work comp. And those will all be reimbursed out of her funds directly to us once we get that all worked out. Don and Pam have been rather busy or quarantined at home in the case of Don. And so he has been working nights and so forth up to about a week and a half ago. Does that sound right, Augie? Something like that. So we've kept it going. The tax sale has been delayed till December, which is unusual, obviously. It was scheduled for what, the 22nd or 23rd of February. It should have been done already. But because of issues, just couldn't be done. So that kind of brings you up to date on CARE.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I back up to my report on CARES?
Sure.
You asked me yesterday, and it jogged my memory this morning. Because of the requirements on the election authorities in Illinois, we had to purchase, we had to purchase various PPE supplies, and we had to hire additional staff to deal with and count the vote-by-mail ballots. And so we'll get reimbursed from the state CARES Act with that. But I also saw an opportunity there to purchase some new standalone voting booths. They are, that's approximately $13,500. And the reason why we could do that, number one, is that counted for social distancing. So if you happen to notice when you're out at your polling places, they were at least 6 feet apart, supposed to be. And now I didn't get enough voting booths for every polling place, but the large majority of them I did. And they are a composite material that can be wiped down very easily versus the old cloth curtains that there's no way to clean those. If you clean those, you probably would tear them and they'd fall apart. But so all told, I'd buy some other equipment, but all told, I've submitted a request for approximately $29,000. And so we needed those things, we were able to purchase those things, and that's gonna benefit the county years on down the road. So, thank you for letting me.
No, that's kind of why we're holding out, committing to things to make sure that some of the departments get, for example, if they would only give you 25, then you could submit 4.
Right.
And that
Right.
way we could get it,
Right.
rather than blowing it all on one thing, okay? On the off chance that we might get more money later, so. I don't know, is there anything you have a question about?
Do you have a storage place for all of that now, since we lost Crackman Building?
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, you've
I
done a
keep
lot
finding room.
you've done some reorganization and
Yeah,
some
we did a
going-
massive
Okay, good.
shred
I just wondered.
project a few years ago, and
That's a lot of stuff.
we're gonna keep up on that. So
Okay.
you'd be surprised
Just
how
wondered.
fast that accumulates.
Okay, we did get, the the August payment on safety tax. It was approximately $88,000, so that's, and 2 or 3 more will count on this budget that we're currently in, and then there'll be 12 next year, okay? So,
Kind of funny, we go to Main Street and we eat and you get your bill. I say, here, mine's 2 cents more than it was because of the tax. And people don't realize how little you pay when you buy something with that tax.
we still have a very strong responsibility
Right.
to make sure that we spend it in a wise and,
Try to explain it.
yes. Motion to go into closed session? Oh, please.
What's a closed session for?
It's for, contracts.
Okay. Have they resolved the problem at the health, at the sheriff department that occurred a couple weeks ago?
We're moving forward on that, yes.
Just wondered.
You want an
Motion.
update on that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine if you can.
Add to that motion,
Personnel, okay.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay, good.
That way
Okay,
we're covered.
right.
So, Carl made the motion and Andy seconded it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. No action will be taken. Do you have any questions on any of this? Are you ready? Okay, we're back in open session. Is there anything else to come before the meeting? Okay. I want to note that we did not talk about, but we should, is starting up informational meetings with in specific items that the department heads and managers and elected officials, we're going to try to do that as soon as we can, okay? Want to make that part of the record. All right, motion to adjourn. Andy moves. Phil seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. We need some signatures.